And away we go. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken right here on BearcatJournal.com. You know the drill, www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Download the app. Not on Android right now, but on iPhone. If you already have it, you're fine. But you can download it still on iPhone, I believe. Everything Galactic. Go to the app. They will deliver right to your front door. Pretty much anywhere inside the 275 loop. Or go down to Dayton, Kentucky. Tell them to pump it up. Save yourself 15% off of your order and get yourself some of that Galactic goodness. All right, Aaron. So we're Callie's in there. She's excited.
It's about
She's
par for the course.
Yeah. It's bedtime here at the Brendel household, so the dogs are shuffling in and out to go potty before bed. We're working on, I like during the season knowing pretty much what every day is going to bring. And now that we're in a real conference, we get to talk about a real conference.
I mean, you're in two different seasons right now, right? You're in college football season and you're in volleyball season.
Oh yeah. So yeah, but I like to not have to like guesswork. So
same.
Wednesdays from here through the college football season are going to be about looking at what is coming up this week in the Big 12. Sundays, Big 12 recap. Wednesdays, Big 12 preview. And an important announcement for you guys to take note of. Thursdays, 3 keys, but it's going to be live, and we're going to do some Q&A afterwards.
What time are we thinking?
8:39.
I'm thinking it's Thursdays are middle school football nights now.
Yeah, Thursdays I've got volleyball, so it'll be a little later.
Probably 9.
Probably 9-ish, more likely. A little more George in the Jungle start time than typical network start time. But yeah, probably more like 9 if you've got something that has to be a little later, 9:30. But I think you guys tend to be up late. Like we tend to see our numbers increase more as we get to 9:30 anyway. So I think that's good for a live show. So going forward, it'll look like this. Saturdays, recap the game. Sundays, recap the Big 12. Mondays will be a little bit of a potpourri.
Hit or miss.
Hit or miss, depending on what's out there. Tuesdays, talking. Wednesdays, Big 12 preview. Thursdays, 3 keys live and a Q&A. And then probably Fridays off, unless something big blows up and we have to do a show. But
trying to flush in the Friday news cycle.
Right. If there's a Friday news dump, we'll get you. But for the most part, I would like to have one day where I can just say that I have a kind of a day off.
A fire pit night.
Yeah. Look, tomorrow or Friday looks like ideal fire pit weather. So I'd really rather not see your face. It is what it is.
I'm good with it.
I just, yeah. You don't want to see my face either.
Agreed.
So let's get to looking ahead at the Big 12 this week. I think everybody plays. I think there's 14. There's a boatload of games. It starts Friday. This should be an interesting one. Illinois, Kansas. Kansas played last week without the Big 12 Offensive Preseason Player of the Year, Jaden Daniels. It's at Kansas. This would be a big one.
Is he back?
And it's he's got back spasms. So he was supposed to be okay for the season opener, but it's a back issue. So,
well, they also played Missouri State. I gotta imagine he's back. I gotta imagine he's back for Illinois in the home opener. He's gonna at least
try.
Sure, in the home opener, I would think that he would be back. Their backup though, Jason Bean, he ended up going for almost 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. So not a slouch. 22 of 28, efficient day for him.
Neal, their running back, went for 94 and a score. I mean, they did what they were supposed to do.
That said, right now ESPN is giving Illinois a 59% chance. I think that the Big Ten is chronically overrated year after year after year after year.
The line says Kansas favored by 3.
I think Vegas has a little bit more boots on the ground than ESPN's FPI does.
FPI, right? Yeah.
I'm looking at Kansas.
I think I'm with you. I mean, I don't think we have to make picks here, but I think we're, if we can if we want to. I just doesn't have to be necessarily a pick segment, unless that's what people want. And I don't gamble, so I don't know why you want my picks. Aaron does gamble, so he can give his. Noon. Let's go to Saturday. Noon Saturday. Oh boy. Utah at Baylor. Baylor got smacked around by Texas State. Utah wants to just smack you in the face.
They've also jumped up to number 12.
Yeah. Utah favored by 8 at Waco. I think Utah is a comfortable winner here based on what we saw last week.
I think they're looking to make a name for themselves before they're even in the conference. And what better way to do it than against Baylor? I'm big on Utah in this game.
Troy, Kansas State. Kansas State's 16.5-point favorite. I know Dave likes Troy and thinks Troy is dangerous. I think Kansas State is maybe the second or third best team in this conference. I like Kansas State pretty easy. I think I would take the points and Kansas State here, although I'm a little hesitant because Dave knows way more about the national landscape of college football. If he says Troy is a potential, could make this closer than it should be, I believe him. But I think Kansas State's really good.
Troy put up a lot of points against who they played SF Austin.
Yeah.
They put up 48 there. Kansas State put up 45, and Southeastern Missouri did not score. I think that Kansas State wins easily in this game. They're favored 16.5. I'm with you. I think that they're going to take the points, and I think that it's going to be an easy win for Kansas State at home.
Over under there is 51.5. I think I'd go over there too if I was
probably
if I was a gambling type. Southern Utah against BYU. This should be BYU very easy, but they didn't look great in week 1. They only scored 14 points in a 14-0 win. If they don't win big here, all of a sudden that game in Provo starts to feel a little different in 3 weeks.
Southern Utah is also a regional game at that point.
They're 0-1. They're terrible. They're bad. They're bad.
Look, I agree. But if they're not winning by more than 20 in this game, then all of a sudden BYU's probably got some concerns as to what the hell's going on.
Yeah. If you're looking for a nap, 3:30 on Fox, Iowa State. You could sleep for 2 hours of this game and maybe only miss 3 points, 6 points. Both of these teams are dreadful offensively. Both of them are high level defensively.
The other game it's going up against is that BYU Southern Utah game. So
right on Fox,
definitely nap.
Well, that's ESPN Plus. Sorry,
it's nap 30.
Yeah, get ready for the Bearcats at 6:30 with a good Iowa State nap.
Don't gamble on this game. Do not gamble. Don't touch it.
Iowa favored by 4. The game is in Ames. The over-under is 36.5.
If you're gonna, I know you joked about it.
I'm taking the under.
I would also take the under.
I'm taking the under
until either team can prove it. Yeah, take the under.
I mean, that means
don't touch that game. There's no reason.
That means there is confidence that a team is going to score 20, and I don't have confidence that either of those teams is going to score 20. So yeah, I think Iowa probably. I wouldn't touch it either. It would be a good win for Iowa State if they can pull that out, given all the drama that has gone on there. 6 o'clock ESPN Plus, SMU number 18, Oklahoma. Oklahoma favored by 15.5.
That's the
over
joke,
under
right?
68.5. I I'm with Dave. I want to see Oklahoma beat the dog piss out of it. SMU.
I agree. I don't know how the hell you're only giving Oklahoma, especially after
15 and a half, yeah.
after they put up 73 last week. Do
Yeah.
you think they just blew their load in week one? No, come on,
This
man.
game's in Norman.
Yeah,
SMU's going to keep this game close in Norman.
What does Vegas know that I don't know? None of this makes any sense to me. I'm taking Oklahoma and I'm hammering 15 and a half.
Duquesne, West Virginia, no line. West Virginia is not good, but they should dominate Duquesne.
They should take care. There's not even more talking.
There's nothing to talk about here. Cincinnati Pitt, we'll talk about more tomorrow. We've talked about a ton all week already. The game of the week, 7:00 ESPN. You can watch it with us at the Holy Grail while we're watching Cincinnati and Pitt. Number 3, Alabama.
I don't know what happened. Your audio there got weird, but
yes. ESPN started playing video that I had muted. Fuck ESPN right
now. It starts with Disney, but anyway.
Yeah,
I don't think
I still need to watch the newest Ahsoka Tano, but yeah.
I don't think either team has shown me anything right now that I believe either team is a real factor. Alabama, sure, they beat Middle Tennessee, who Middle Tennessee did take out Miami, Florida last year. Sure. Texas, they really put a drubbing on Rice, 37-10. Come on, man, what are we doing?
Alabama 7-point favorite at home, over under 54.
The fact that Alabama's only given 7 points right now, I think Quinn Ewers if he's the real deal, then Texas pulls off the upset. This is another game though that I wouldn't touch because I don't feel like I know enough about either team. Alabama,
Texas almost beat them at Texas last year. Almost.
Alabama
horseshoes.
Alabama does not play games out of conference that are not at home or not at a
large neutral site. Yeah, they did. Yeah. They played Texas and Austin last year. I'm not touching this one.
The rare Alabama travel game. Yeah. I'm not touching this one. But like I said, if Quinn Ewers is the real deal, then Texas. If Texas is really bad,
at least covers, right? They at least cover.
Sure.
It's a touchdown game. If you're real, you don't get beat by 10 here.
Neither team's shown me anything that I believe either one's real.
Oregon, Texas Tech. This game is in Lubbock. It's going to be really hard for Oregon to get home from Lubbock. It's hard. Oregon only a 6.5-point favorite. Texas Tech scored 17 points in the first quarter against Wyoming. They scored 3 points the rest of regulation. They lost to Wyoming in overtime. I'm hammering Oregon here, I think. Don't you have to?
At 6.5, I think you do. Give me Oregon. Again, this would probably be a game that I'm not touching. It's too early in the season for me to actually believe in either preseason. I don't care about preseason rankings, and week 2 is almost as big a joke as week 1. Not quite, but I'd say at 6.5, I would take Oregon, but I'm playing with pretend money right now. So
UCF, Smurf Turf at Boise State. The Golden Knights are favored by 3.5. The over-under is 60. I don't think Boise State is good anymore.
No, they got decimated last week.
Demolished at Washington, 56-19.
Yeah, and granted, it's an uncomfortable travel for UCF to go all the way to Idaho.
Yeah.
They are Orlando, there's too much to do. Idaho, there's watching potatoes grow.
Actually, I've heard Boise's a really cool town, but
sure,
neither here nor there. I've never been there, so that tells you what I think about it.
I'm still not giving Boise State. I'm 3.5. Almost a slap.
3.5. Are you surprised?
It's a slap in the face, I think, to UCF, and I think they're going to come out. And Gus Malzahn is using that alone as the bulletin board material that he's going to need. If UCF is for real, and there's plenty of people saying that they are, then it shouldn't be an issue. But stranger things have happened already this season.
Well, and they have struggled in that, like their like main out of conference tests, like Louisville. Scott Satterfield has gotten UCF twice in that middle OOC game.
Is that in the Gus Malzahn era, though?
So last 2 years, Louisville beat
Okay.
UCF. So yeah,
And,
the only 2 years of the Gus Malzahn era.
For sure.
I don't know. I probably, if I had to put money on it, I'd take UCF. But I wouldn't be shocked if Boise kept it close and maybe pulled off some magic on the Smurf turf. Moving right along, Houston at Rice. Houston only favored by 9.5 here. I mean, Houston better win. You can't lose to Rice.
Again, it was only 37-10. Texas hosting Rice.
Yeah, I know. I don't think Houston's any good. I think
I don't. This would be another game that I would not touch. It's at Rice, which not a far travel, but Houston fans don't show up to Houston games, so Houston fans aren't showing up to Rice games.
Nobody's showing up. Rice doesn't have fans. Houston doesn't have fans. And we already saw Texas State, newcomer to the American Athletic Conference, get a win last week. Does Rice get a win over Houston this week? TCU Nichols. TCU is going to let out a lot of frustration in that one, I think.
TCU had no business being ranked, but that's because we love to do preseason rankings. And
hey, guess what? Here's one other important thing. Fuck living in Texas, bro. I'm looking right now. 100 degrees in Fort Worth, 97 in Houston, 93 in Lubbock, 98 in Norman, Oklahoma. Nah, fam. I'm good.
On turf would be about 20 degrees, 30 degrees hotter. Yeah. Although TCU is a grass field, good on them.
They drill Nichols. They're mad.
I agree.
They had a bad week last week. They're mad.
Yep.
Oklahoma State, Arizona State is kind of fascinating. Oklahoma State's favored by 3 in Tempe. That is a 10:30 kickoff.
How about the fact that
TV listed?
How about the fact that this is a second matchup of teams that will be in the Big 12 next year?
I think that was pretty common that out of conference, like the Big 12 and the Pac-12, crossed over, at least some.
Just saying, really cool that you're getting these previews before they're actually in conference games next year.
Look, this is a game Oklahoma State better win.
If they're to be taken seriously, again, another team that win. He's a man. He's like 55 at this point.
I'm a man. I'm 57.
There you go. It is at Arizona State, but they're favored 3 points. Should be a fun one.
Here's what we've talked about in the past. If you want to feel, look up how long ago that Gundy video was.
That's crazy.
It was a long time ago. Like, he's a man and he's real old. He's not 40 anymore. I'll tell you that.
Still getting the same haircut, though.
Yeah. All right, there you go. If you're a Big 12 fan and you think we're idiots, we'll discuss in the chat. We'll see you next time. That's the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya.